Welcome back to Fired Up Fab Works. I'm Jim. I'm in my kitchen right now and I wanted to get a video out. We just got back from church and I wanted to get the first full video out in a series that's coming in. And oh, it smells so good in here. My wife is making a turkey broth for a soup that she's going to make.
Bone broth.
What's that?
Bone broth.
Bone broth, yes. For a soup she's going to make for a meal chain for someone at our church. And anyway, I wanted to get a video out, and I want to maybe go open that box that was in my intro video and see what that's all about. So let's get out to the shop and do it. Now that we're in the shop, and before we touch on what's in this box, I want to go over a couple of points with you. One is, my wife says I don't smile enough. I don't know what to do about that. Number two, I'm not wearing the Crocs today. Third, and what really has to do with what we're here for today, is tooling and equipment. When you're outfitting your shop, sometimes you want the best of the best. And that gets expensive. And sometimes you go on the cheap. Because, well, you just have a budget you have to adhere to. Sometimes, only sometimes, but sometimes we build it ourselves. Like this mill here. We'll go over this in another video, but I saved a lot of money by building this, and yes, I would love to have a real high-end VMC, but you know, sometimes you just can't afford that. And then sometimes you go real cheap. But then you modify it and outfit it and do what you have to. And sometimes you go even cheaper yet. In this case, we found something more in the middle of the road. Happy medium, if you will. And that's what happens to be in this box right here. So let's get this thing open. Know what it is yet? Give them a teaser. This is the Langmuir Crossfire, and we also have the XL extension kit, give a larger work envelope, and a few other goodies we'll go over in just a minute. So let's open her up. People are like, yeah, this is just another unboxing video. But hopefully we cover them. It's always nice getting a new toy, isn't it? Toy, tool. Yeah, it's all the same. Labels. Well, if this is just the outer packaging, I'm wondering what it's going to be like inside.
All those staples.
Let's get to the meat and potatoes. Yeah, they're the ones. Hey, you know, they package it well. I'll give them that. So, if this is a sign of things to come. Oh, peanuts, wow. Wonderful. It's always good to have peanuts all over your shop. But, looks like it's very well packaged. I've never seen that many staples in one box. I'll put some boxes like after that. Peanuts. Yeah, they sure did a good job of packing this all up. Well, another strap. No, so these don't want to cut. There we go.
It's pretty.
That assembly is goes all together. That takes some of the work out of it. I think the earlier versions, you had to put that together yourself. Well, that's nice. This is going to be for the cabling. Try to keep the peanuts over here. What have we here? Oh, this is the electronics enclosure. It's going to be the brain that runs everything. Yeah. Try to keep these from coming in the house. Happy wife, happy life, right? Oh, yes. Very nice. All right, I'm going to look in these momentarily. Some washers. Get this out of our way.
Best man.
They did an amazing job packaging this.
Well, it was heavy.
Heavy box, it is, yeah. For its size, it's very heavy. This says Crossfire Hardware. We'll see what's in the box. And we'll open all that up as well. Let's get to the this stuff. Okay, let's see. Here's just like a little start guide or something here. And I know that they have videos on how to assemble this instead of it being instructions, but it does give you QR codes to scan, user guides, software tutorials, that sort of thing. So far, well done, Langmuir. Torch fire wiring. Of course, that's going to be the power cord for the controller. Some casters. Which, that's one thing I do like about this, is that it's on casters. You can roll it around the shop if it's in your way. Slide it out of the way. Keep your shop room, and then when you go to use it, this here is going to be your torch mounts. And while we talk about this, one of the parts that's coming, besides the water table that we ordered, is also the Z-axis. And so you don't have to just manually set the height of the torch, and also the torch height control. And so if you're cutting metal, especially the thin stuff, you know what heat does to metal, it makes it warp. And so if it's warping a bit while you're cutting it, the torch height control, the Z-axis will move with it so that you're getting a constant distance between the torch tip and the metal itself. And that's a nightmare solved right there. So it's worth the money to buy the torch height control and the Z-axis for it. More washers and hardware. Basically, that's all the bolts to put the table together. You get these plastic caps for all the ends of the square tubing that the frame is made of. So that's a nice touch too. Cleans it up a bit. All your nuts and hardware. these here go inside the square tube, and it keeps the tube from collapsing when you're cranking the bolts tight. You know, a lot of people have a heavy hand, and they'll just crank bolts. And when you're doing square tubing, you'll collapse that tubing, and then there's warpage and a whole nother nightmare. So it's nice that they have those, that they designed that into it. Langmuir's thought of everything here. More, yeah, just more hardware. Lots of hardware for this, and it's all packaged nicely. The tools, this little tools one, it's going to give you, of course, your hex head, your Allen, and then it gives you a couple of, think of it like a filler gauge, but it's a way for you to adjust the height of your torch off of the metal. Even though you have the Z-axis, you still want to use these when you're setting it up. You want to make sure that you are tramming the head, and also that when it runs its full distance, that it's the same level off the metal slats that are holding your work material up, and you want to stay an equal distance across the whole tram of it. And then, of course, these are the brackets, and then these here get knocked into the end of the square tube on the bottom, and then your casters will screw into those. So they've thought of everything. That gets rid of that box. We have another box here. This is another one with a little bit of weight to it. Stepper motors. These are what controls the two axis, X and Y. When the Z-axis kit comes in, it'll have its stepper motor attached to it, and that'll be your Z, which is up and down. But these are the XY stepper motors. And again, very, very well packaged. Everything's all foamed in. Just very well. I like seeing this. I mean, I've bought components like when I was building my mill, and it came, I had one motor that was actually had an ear broke off of it, and I had to contact the seller and have them send me out another motor because it was damaged. But Langmuir's thought of everything. And just so you know, this is not a sponsored video. My wife and I, we paid for this machine out of our own pocket. So it is a non-sponsor. But when I see a company that takes the time and care, you know, it benefits them too. They have less things sent back to them. And they don't need shipping and things like that because they send it out right in the first place. So I'm very happy about that. I'm kind of picky when it comes to that. My wife might tell you I'm even OCD at times. My dog is OCD. I'm not kidding you. That in another video. All right, let's see. I hate the peanuts though. I just hate the peanuts.
Is that it?
So,
But there's more.
oh yes, there's more. And it's all again. And of course it's strapped together. They sure did a good job. I'm gonna use the knife on this one. They sure did a good job. And I'd rather take the time to have to unpack something like this than for it to not be packed right in the first place. So I'll just deal with it. Back in here. So this says lead screw inside. So I think this might be the Y-axis. So two of these bars, one this color and one the black or gray, will not be used because we have the XL kit, which is an expansion to make it a larger work envelope. And so this one here I don't believe is going to be used. I'm not going to unwrap it unless I have to, but pretty much sure that that's replaced right there. Excuse me. Also, something that won't be used, we'll save them and use them for something, is these are the slat holders. And normally you have vertical slats in a plasma table that your work material sits on top of. And as it's cutting through, it doesn't cut deep into these because they're upright and they're under the material. But the reason we won't be using these is because we also ordered the water table for it. And the reason you do that is because when you're cutting things with a plasma, the vapors that come off of it can be toxic. You don't want to be breathing this stuff. The water kind of takes that, keeps those vapors down into the water. The other way you can go is what they call a downdraft table. And a downdraft table, how that works is it uses fans or suction to pull the vapors down, and you usually have to vent that outdoors. Probably if I'm doing a great deal of cutting, even though I'm using a water table, I'll open one of my bay doors here, maybe have a fan exhausted out, just to keep my lungs healthy. But the reason we won't be using these is because the water table will have its own set of carriers for the slats, and that'll take care of that. And of course we have all of our leg framing and whatnot. And we'll put that over here. I'm looking forward to getting the peanuts out of the shop, because they're never fun to deal with, but like I said, I'm glad they packed it all well. Yeah, there's more.
Oh my goodness.
So these are part of the horizontal framework, and of course it says Langmuir Systems Crossfire.
That's nice.
Yeah, and you know, the one thing that I might suggest to Langmuir is when someone purchases the XL expansion kit, maybe you should give them a XL sticker. Actually, two of them, because I believe it says this on both ends of the table, but maybe an XL, and that really shows off their product. But nevertheless, so far I'm very happy, except for the peanuts. I know I need to get over it, right? There's the other. So this one doesn't say Crossfire, it just says Langmuir Systems. Okay, these are quite heavy. So these are the slats. These are the ones that go into these little cutouts. Again, I think we probably still use these slats, but in the water table, we'll find out when that water table kit gets here. Oh, they've labeled it all. Look at that. There is more.
Mm-hmm.
So again, Langmuir, XL stickers. Just show off your product. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with being proud of a product that you make and then completely blank. But this is, I think, the other one that is not used. It's the same length, whereas we have longer ones in that box. So, kind of self-explanatory there, but we'll go over it in detail when we're doing the assembly. As I said before, I don't know how many videos this is going to take. I don't want to short anybody on information, because you know, when you spend a bit of money for something, you get excited about it and the abilities that you have after having equipment like this, and a little more documentation. And so when you do that, you know, you have a little bit of pride in it yourself, and hopefully you'll take good care of it. And it should, when it's built like this, it should give you, you know, many years of use, and as long as you keep maintaining it properly. And yes, like I said, I could spend a whole lot more money and even have a larger one, which, who says down the road, you know, I would love to have, you know, 4x8, 5x10 plasma table, but I'll be able to make a lot of stuff on this. Metal art, my wife wants to do a lot of that. Bracket work, because I build a lot of things. I'm into hot rodding, I'm into off-roading, and you can tell, I even, and I'm almost 65 years old, I still ride dirt bikes and quads. I do burnouts in my shop. And you know, that's a rite of passage, by the way. if ever you finally get your dream shop, no matter what you have to do a burnout in it. It's just, yeah, a rite of passage.
No one over there.
Oh,
He
I
did
have
it
a
from.
really bad one over there. I think I need to take the torch to it and burn it and then scrape it. So, yeah, you know, it's a guy thing. What can I say? I'm such a guy. Anyway, these are the XL kit portion of it, which will expand the work envelope. Matter of fact, I'll show you how much more. It's 10 inches. So this is one laid against this. It gives you an additional 10 inches. And when you're doing plasma, and you can increase your work envelope, it's a win-win. Anytime you can go larger. Like I said, eventually, I'd like to see a larger one in this shop. And maybe we can work with Langmuir on that. We'll see how it goes. There's some other equipment that they have. Like I said, I'm not sponsored. All of this was purchased out of pocket. But they have some really good equipment on their site. They have a really nice, so they have a press brake and stuff over there that is just amazing. It's programmable. You can do so much with it. Go onto their site and just have a look at their equipment. I was pretty impressed by it. And not a lot of companies impressed me. I mean, I've seen everything from good to bad in this industry. You know, I've been at it for a long time. I've been building things for 50 plus years. No, that's telling my age again. But, you know, there's companies that you remember, and there's companies that you wish you could forget. And those are the ones you tend to remember more, unfortunately. But now that we've gone over the Excel kit, let's go into this box. So we did order some other things with this. You can, the nice thing about Langmuir is you can go on there and you can pick and choose the accessories or add-ons that you want. And for one, we got the laptop stand, because I am going to be using a laptop to run this. We'll get more into the software into things and stuff too. But that's the plate with the lip on it. It's for your laptop to sit on. And they got a really cool bracket, because this is the kind of stuff I do, you know, hot rodding. You got, you know, the speed holes, we call them. But yeah, that's the bracket for it. It's got holes through it. Looks pretty cool. And then this is part of the laptop stand. And this is where that mounts to the framework to hold the laptop stand on there. And the nice thing about this, it's non-intrusive. So in other words, if you decide later on, hey, I don't want that stand anymore, I'm going to run mine off a desktop computer, or I'm going to be having my laptop further away from the machine for whatever reason, and you don't want this laptop stand anymore, it just unbolts right off of it, which is kind of nice, and you're not having to cover up you know, the remnants of installing it. So we also got, and this is very important, it's the limit switch kit. So when you have a motion control system, which is like how a mill operates, many other machines out there, 3D printers, laser engravers, things like that, you want to be able to home the axis, all three axes in this case. You want to be able to home them when you start up the machine, and then you can set a work coordinates from that position on. And that coordinate system is how machinery like this works. And we'll go more into that when we're building it, testing it, so that you have a better eyes-on understanding of it. And but this is the limit switches and the wiring for them and everything all in one. And then these are the brackets. So this is the limit switch kit for X and Y axis. So there's two brackets in here and two cords. And then the Z axis assembly that's coming will have its own limit switch on it, and I'm sure, and everything. But so that's the options that we added on. And the only ones that are not here is the water table and the Z axis with torch height control, which I explained a little earlier. on that. It's not a great deal more money. Like I said again, it's all about your budget, what you can afford. These are things that you can add on yourself, like down the road when you feel like you can afford it. And you go, sure would be nice to have torch height control. I keep chasing this warped metal thing or whatever you're fighting. That one's an important one to have. The water table. You breathe these vapors long enough and as many years as I have. Pretty important one. Limit switches I wouldn't do without. But broken down, each individual add-on is fairly inexpensive. And I'm very happy with that with Langmuir. So now that we've got this all opened up and you kind of got a scope of what we're going to be doing here, I'm going to call this one. And in the next video, we're actually going to get into assembling this thing and making things move and happen. Besides, like I said, we're still waiting on a couple of things to arrive. But this is kind of going to give you just a gist of it. The exciting part, the real exciting part, is when we have it up and running and we're actually making stuff on it and you can see what you can do in your own home in a small space. You don't have to have a big shop like this. Or, in a small space, you can make some of the coolest art. You can make important bracket work. You can cut out parts. If you want to build your own off-road bumpers and cut out plating, all those kind of things. If you want to build your own equipment, you can do that as well. Like I said, when I built that mill over there, I needed plate, aluminum plate, and then I'm like, okay, I'm building a machine that will mill aluminum plate, but how do I mill the aluminum plate to build the mill? Yeah, that was fun. Chicken or the egg? Which one? I know it was one of them. Anyway, I worked it out, and we'll go into that in another video down the road. And we'll go into some other shop videos and kind of show you what I have and what I want, because we always want more, don't we? But yeah, I mean, there's many things we're going to do here, and I'm really just happy that you're all along for the ride. We're very blessed. It's not without a lot of hard work. Like I said, I've been doing this stuff for over 50 years, and that alone has been quite a journey. But we're glad you're along with us. So I'd also like to ask everyone, if you could please, especially since we're a new channel, is please like, share, and subscribe. Every time you smash that like button, it's going to help us out with analytics. And subscribe, please subscribe, because I want you to kind of grow with us on this, and hopefully we'll get better. So your comments are very much appreciated.
Send us where are you watching from?
Yeah, hey, that's a great idea. I'd like to know that, because you know what? There's a lot of us all over that enjoy this kind of stuff and building things and making things and working out problems, and I'd like to know where people are from. That is a really good one. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them. Let's try to keep the channel nice and not a bunch of keyboard warriors and negativity. Let's keep it all positive. And when somebody asks a question about something, let's not thrash on them. Let's give them good advice and help them in their journey as well. Because basically that's what I do this for. I didn't have a lot of help when I was growing up in the industry and doing various different things that I do. And I've always wanted to help people. I've always wanted to mentor people. So feel free to ask questions. But remember, like, share, and subscribe. Bang that bell so you get notifications for the next video. We'll see you then. Again, thanks for coming, and welcome to Fired Up Fabworks.